Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Booth Review on WIUR Radio. I'm Robbie Basil, the president of this incredible club. So happy that you join us on another cool-ish morning here in New Rochelle. Joining me, as always, is my good friend and partner, Chase Caridi. Scoot gets the day off. He is not with us today.
Crazy predictions last time.
After his heinous prediction of the Colorado Rockies winning the World Series against the Minnesota Twins, he got the day off. But
the way they've been playing.
I wish he was here because today we're actually starting with a couple major announcements today. First off, for the students, some reason they wanted to feature me in a paper. So you could check out the latest edition of the Ionian, featuring an article about your president, because why not? Chase, show the camera. We'll make Chase show the camera. Article written by shout out my boy Landon Popovic. It's totally not scuffed. There you go. You can check out you can find the latest edition of the Ionian for Iona students around campus or online on their website. Hopefully that article goes up because it's actually a very good article. I got to take a read of it yesterday.
Solid stuff from the award-winning radio man himself,
yes,
Landon Popovic.
He is. You also got a quote in there.
I did.
Yes, you did.
So if you want to read that, make sure to check out freshman Chase Caridi.
Yes. Other announcements before we get to the big one in just a moment. You can check out WIUR Sports today as we cover Iona baseball. More on that series in just a moment as they take on the third place Sacred Heart Pioneers in a pivotal series matchup for both of those squads. We head to the main event, the bread and butter. The moment you've all been waiting for. And if you watched some of our other shows on WIUR or saw the Instagram just moments ago, we are happy to announce that Radiothon is official. April 23rd is finally here. It is finally happening, headlined by the incredible return of the WIUR NFL Draft Watch Along. Returns for another go. Hosted, actually, the host is yet to be determined. You will find out the host next week. But how it's going to work and how you're going to find out who's doing what is throughout the next 2 weeks. You will get, starting probably late next week, there will be Instagram stories on our Instagram. So make sure to follow at WIUR_Gales Radio for announcements almost every day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, about shows that will be joining us for Radiothon. You'll see some of your regular shows on Thursday, plus some of your favorite shows from WIUR this year, including us. We will be there for Radiothon, for actually multiple bits of Radiothon. Plus some new mashups, trying to make things a little bit more creative and interesting. So make sure to follow our Instagram, again, at WIUR_Gales Radio, to make sure you know who is in that lineup and who's going to not mess it up on Radiothon night on April 23rd. It's our first one in a long time. Hopefully, a semesterly event at the second to last week of every semester going forward. And Chase Cree, I'm very excited. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, this is completely new to me. Obviously, it has been done a couple of years, but also as a new member of WIUR and Iona in general as a freshman, as stated in the Ionian piece. But nevertheless, I think it is just such a great experience to have so many different, aspiring people to work with radio, work in broadcasting, just talking about what they love most. And it's going to be topped off with one of the biggest events for sports fans in the year, which is, of course, the NFL Draft. I mean, I just can't wait to see it all happen. I can't wait to see all of you guys enjoying it alongside with us in the ride.
Yeah, it is going to be an incredible event. So excited to bring this event back. I believe this is the first one since pre-COVID, so it's very exciting. This year, to be completely transparent, it's going to be more of a test run. And the next semester, we have a bunch of ideas and a bunch of plans to possibly bring Radiothon more to what it should be. But this year it's our test run. I think it's a good way to end the semester with a bunch of people who want to talk about a bunch of cool things, if you know what I mean. But we have to talk about a bunch of cool stuff as well, which is going to be really, really exciting. On the docket today, mainly baseball. We'll be talking about who's been good and who deserves this sound effect every time we talk about him. I don't know why it's not coming through our speaker.
Gonna
You
say.
know why this is? Hold on, let me try this again.
He's unmuted.
I don't know.
Is he muted?
Oh no, it is muted.
Ah. We apologize for all the sound effects. That literally made no sense to start off the show.
This way, we should just restart the intro again.
Not worth it.
Hold on.
Live from New York, this is WI.
No, we're not doing that. But we are. It is time for baseball talk, and we begin once again with the series for this weekend. It's Iona and Sacred Heart, the Gales, winners of their last two. Chase. They went out and won against FDU in a close game on Wednesday. They also took one against the UMBC Retrievers out of the America East last weekend. During Easter break or wherever. It's a squad that's been up and down, but is so talented regardless. And you actually get to call game one today with one of the league's best pitchers so far, ERA wise and statistically. It's been Andrellis Payamps, who's been stealing the show for this Iona pitching staff. What's something you're going to be watching out for, not just from today, but from this entire series in general?
Yeah, no, what I'm looking for in this Iona team is just to continue riding that hot hand. As you said, they're on a bit of a win streak, winning their last two, coming off of that midweek match, they're able to defeat FDU. And then it comes to this massive series they have against one of the top teams in the MAC conference in the Sacred Heart Pioneers, 7-5 in the conference, but overall 10-19. What I'm looking at as well is their away record is only 6-15. Now, Iona themselves don't have a great home record this season, but even still, you got to expect a little bit more as, it gets a little bit more hot outside, a little warmer. Fans are going to enjoy the atmosphere a little bit more. It's really going to feel like a home game for this Iona team. And of course, who else would you rather have on the bump for a good atmosphere like that than Andrellis Payamps? As you said, near the top in many leaderboards, 8th in innings pitched, second in strikeouts in the MAC. And his last time out, he gave up 5 runs, only 3 being earned in 4 innings pitched. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can continue to work through it. Should he get more strikeouts? Only had 3 in that last matchup. Also walked 3. So really just trying to hone down his craft. I mean, when we see him at his best, he is one of the best that the MAC has to offer, like you said. So I really expect good things from the pitching staff and also the team hitting-wise. They haven't had too much success at home, especially when you think, hard contact and home runs. They haven't had one yet at home. But even still, I think that this is a team that they fight. They have gritty at-bats. They continue to stay in these games no matter how long they go on for. So I'm just really expecting some strong things against the MAC opponent where things are really starting to dwindle down and get really important if they want to make any noise in this conference.
Iona, with a series win, would throw themselves back in the playoff picture. Remember, they have 3 games at hand against some of the teams in front of them. There's a lot of good series that are occurring this weekend in the MAC. The biggest one, obviously, being Fairfield and Rider. Which we'll briefly address on the game later today, which you can see that on listen to that rather, on WIUR Sports on Mixler, coverage being 2:45, special time today, 2:45. It's Chase, it's Zion today. I know you're a little bit excited about that one. Is that your first game with Zion?
It is.
Exciting.
His only second game in WIUR and his first game with Adam Peck just a few weeks back, one of the midweek games. Extra innings didn't go their way as I believe Yale was able to take that one down.
The last time they played at home, by the way, was a 7-6 loss against Yale.
Cold game.
It was very cold. You weren't even there.
Oh, I knew. Also, we're still here.
Oh, yeah. He got the unfortunate break of Adam Peck, who's did a great job that Wednesday afternoon.
Wonderful.
He got screwed because Adam is part of the WIUR, one of WIUR's best shows, not just this year, but overall in the YouTube era. We're going for 3, which I got to feature on Wednesday and got humiliated on live stream.
Check out here on the channel.
Make sure you check that out. We're not putting in the link in the description because you can watch me throw my. You can watch me put my favorite sandwich down at the last spot in a power ranking, in a random draw power ranking. Yeah, I mean it was not ideal, but it was a ton of fun. So yeah, you could go check out that stream. But when you look at Sacred Heart, and we'll kind of introduce the Sacred Heart team a little bit. They have, a brotherly duo, which is a lot of fun. You don't really see that in sports really anymore, especially in college sports. They have 2 brothers who are really good, but their Friday starter, Matushat, hasn't been the Friday ace they've been looking for. What's going to talk to us a little bit about Matushat and what he's going to need to do to limit this Gales offense, just so the fans at home or the people watching kind of get an understanding of what the Sacred Heart team has to offer today.
Yeah, I think his last time out is really indicative of what his performances have been this season. He went 7 innings of ball, throwing 99 pitches, but gave up 4 runs on 9 hits. And that kind of goes to show an ERA of 8.1. I'm just going to pass by that one right there. An ERA of 8.1, but being 5th in innings pitched in the league, that's more than Pyops. So really a guy who continues to go through this game and fights in every inning and out he tries to get, but sometimes it shows up in a little bit of offense against him. And I think that's going to be really interesting with a team in Iona that has some really strong offensive spurts and moments. I think they've really kind of found their way with guys like Costello making it in the lineup more. I think they're starting to find their way with these guys hitting as a more unit and not just individual batters. But even still, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. And of course, we know how long this guy can go into games. So I think it's going to be opportune for these hitters to get a chance. And speaking of hitters, when you look at this team in Sacred Heart, I mean, they've done some really great things. As you said, the Donahue twins from Melrose, Massachusetts, they absolutely demolished the ball whenever they played. Peter Link coming off of a fantastic game in the midweek on a Tuesday, I believe. He had 2 hits, both being home runs, getting 4 RBIs onto that one. J.W. Fitzgerald, another member in this lineup that just continues to deliver. It's a really strong top of the lineup, and overall, they just do what they do best in terms of getting hits, making contact, making sure that these guys are, uncomfortable in these at-bats. But I think it is just a great matchup to see such a strong lineup go against, as we've said multiple times, one of the MAC's best in Andrelis Pyops and this Iona Gales group, and what I think is going to be a really fun series over the weekend.
It's going to be a fun series, a series that will have a lot of eyes. Obviously, people will have their eyes on the 1 versus 2 mono type series between the Stags and the Bronx. But the Gales against the Pioneers, once again, you can hear coverage of that series beginning today, 2:45 tomorrow, 12:45 tomorrow. We have Adam Pack and Chris Solaro, and then Sunday you get me, which is pretty nice. It feels good to be back on the mic. First time on the mic in a minute. Obviously we haven't had a lot of baseball in the last couple of weeks. I was also on the road last weekend, so you'll get me.
Yeah, we did that part. We did that.
I know. I gotta hype myself up a little bit here. 11:45 a.m. on Sunday. I'm with Angelo Joyo, which is gonna be a fun one.
Baseball debut.
Yes, it is. Baseball debut for Angelo.
Listen on Sunday.
On Sunday, so it's gonna be pretty good. Luke Lang has been killing it, so he's the starter, presumably for
former
Sunday.
MAC Rookie of the Week.
Former MAC Rookie of the Week. It's gonna be a very fun series as a whole. 2 offenses that are trying to figure it out. Remember, Sacred Heart actually is bottom in the conference in batting average. So Pyops needs to get a bounce back start against a team last in hit and batting average in the league. It's going to be a series that could favor Iona, but we'll have to see. Just wait and see. We're going to take a very, very, very short break. When we return, we'll tell you about some recent news in Major League Baseball, including our favorite team losing again to the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll talk to you about that when we return on WIUR Radio.
This is WIUR Radio.
Hi, I'm Morgan Beastie from the Ionian, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Are you looking for the latest scoop on campus news, sports, and more? Check out the Ionian, Iona University's very own award-winning student newspaper. We keep you up to date with everything happening on and off campus. Want to know about the big game, the latest campus event? It's all in the Ionian. Join the conversation. Read, write, and get involved. Visit www.theionian.org or pick up a copy around campus. Stay informed, stay connected. Now, back to WIUR, Iona University Radio.
Yeah, we're trying to just bring back the randomness, Welcome back to this show. Yeah, we're just hitting buttons. We've been gone for 2 weeks. You need to bring
long
up
time.
It's been a minute, Just like in 2 weeks, you can listen to the our first radiothon in a couple of years.
That's what we call a transition, a segue, some may say.
Could only learn those from the infamous Mike Quick,
Of course.
of course. But let's
Legend.
talk professional baseball. And no, we are not talking about a team that allowed 10 runs on one hit at one point in AA baseball, which if you didn't see that from earlier this week, where have you been? Like it was all over CBS this week. So they can maybe not, they won't allow hits, but they'll allow base runners in the end or runs to score as well. But bad jokes and terrible baseball aside, we now head to Major League Baseball. Actually, speaking of bad things, we have to go over our horrific picks from the first 12 games of the Major League Baseball season. We're going to go first, we're going to focus on the New York teams, and then we're going to go division by division and see how bad we've actually been. So we begin with the team that's actually doing better right now. The Marlins. I'm kidding. They're not a New York team, though. They've actually been pretty good. But we'll begin with the New York.
Surprised they're not some people.
We'll begin with the New York Yankees, who went out and lost again to the Athletics. Remember, they're just the Athletics. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
The A's, some would say.
They're just the A's. But maybe they should be called the W's because they just got another one against the New York Yankees. 1-0 yesterday. The Yankees got dominated by the A's pitching staff this week. What are you laughing at?
Is what he said. Dominators 1-0.
Well, they got dominated because
The batters were dominated. Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
The A's led by starting pitcher Jeffrey Springs. Okay, I can't do this whole act.
Correct.
Jeffrey Springs,
This is why I said
Tampa Bay Rays
dominated.
1 hit, 6 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Listen, poor Ryan Withers. 7 innings, you give up 1 run, you get the loss on the day. That's just baseball sometimes, you know.
Actually went 8 innings, which is even more impressive.
8 innings. That's even worse.
In the ninth, what did they do to try and keep it a one-run game? They made a big risk and put in Paul Blackburn.
Yeah, interesting choice. They've done that a couple of times. It caused a Cal Raleigh walk-off when they were in Seattle just a few weeks back. You know, it's been a while since we've spoken about these baseball seasons. So really, we're going back to, you know, their last series where they swept the Giants to start out the season. And to their credit, they've really kept that momentum, able to win a series against the Mariners after that Raleigh walk-off. They're able to have really, really strong outings against some of the stronger pitchers for the Mariners, including George Kirby. Shout out Ryan New York over there. And then they had the Miami Marlins coming to town in the first home series for the Yankees. And, you know, they were able to really, really strongly dominate this first couple of games. And then some cracks showed. They, you know, gave up a lead in what was a close back and forth game. The Marlins were able to take that final game in that series 7-6. Then they got back on their winning ways with a win against the A's. But as you said, for the first time this season, they've not only lost the series, they've also lost 2 straight games in that 1-0 gem on behalf of both Springs and Ryan Weathers. Both pitchers were able to do really well. Just unfortunately, 1 run gets scratched across, and that's all that she wrote. And then in their 3-2 game, came down to the bullpen, not being able to hold it together. Bednar and the bullpen for the Yankees near the end just gave up that final last run. Game couldn't even get to extras. Ends up being a strikeout on behalf on Ryan McMahon that ends that one for that first loss. But again, I think we can all comfortably say I don't think there's a reason to be worried about this Yankees team. I mean, they are hitting well. Their pitching, their starting rotation staff is one of the best in baseball right now. We see Schlittler to continue to do things that are amazing. Ryan Weathers, as we said in the back of the rotation, is really strong. And you got guys like Max Fried absolutely dominating start in and start out, showing the best of what he was like when he was in the Braves and even beyond with what the Yankees have been able to do to continue to help him develop. And it has them sitting atop the AL East just about 2 weeks into the season, though they have one of the bigger losing streaks in their division. Again, I don't think there's any reason to be worried about this unit as they go to play Tampa in Tampa Bay next. And I think that is going to be a very easy get-back series as one of these teams that is near the bottom of these standings, though they're sharing it with some very interesting choices that we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah, the New York Yankees had multiple 1-run losses against an A's team that had a lot of question marks. We did get to see 2 guys who went to the same college go head-to-head as a starting pitching matchup between Aaron Savali and Cam Schlittler. Very weird matchup. Shout out Northeastern.
Mm-hmm.
They did go toe-to-toe,
Well,
and it was Savali taking the matchup.
Sure.
Yeah,
I guess so.
works for me. He deserves this. He deserves that one. Shout out Aaron Savali,
Savali.
MLB The Show legend for me. Am I worried about the Yankees? No, they're in a peculiar spot. Obviously, they're not fully healthy.
Mhm.
No Volpe. They've started Jose Caballero at short.
No, now they started Ryan McMahon recently at short with
He's-
Ahmed Rosario at third base, which
is
is a
also-
choice.
Although Ahmed Rosario had that one legacy game.
He did. The only game they won against the A's came off of 2 home runs by Mets legend Ahmed Rosario.
That's what that.
Remember when he hit a walk-off for the Mets in Yankee Stadium?
Oh my God.
Shout out 2020.
2020 when no one was there. But yeah, it's been an interesting start for them. I think once the
Mhm.
team gets fully healthy, gets pieces everything together.
Liz Riccio, everyone.
Liz Riccio, everyone. Hold on. Liz Riccio, everybody. He's just not in the shot.
Wish he was there for a second. Nevertheless, talking about this
yeah,
Yankees team.
I think the question I have for them, and it's always a question about the Yankees team, is team health.
Mhm.
Team health has always been I'm trying to forget remember the saying. It's like a thorn in their side or whatever.
Mhm.
Team health is going to be important for them. Rotation health is going to be important for them. If you look at their depth chart right now, bullpen wise, it's something. I think they're going to need to maybe make a move later on down the line, but you got to love Judge. You got to love Bellinger, Chisholm, Rice, those types of players. But I think going forward, they're going to need to be a team that changes things up, makes a move, does something creative instead of standing put. Because if they just stay put and, everyone gets hurt and they have to start Randall, Grichuk, and Wright, they're not making it far in the playoffs. They're going to need to be a team that I think if they're a team that needs to put it all together and fast. That is who they are. And it's a weird thing to say because it seems so simple.
Mhm.
But when your bullpen's headlined by the duo of Bednar and Camilo Duvall, which is really good. I actually love the duo. But your next best relievers like Fernando Cruz and Tim Hill? That's not good, lads.
No.
When it's May and their bullpen sucks and everyone's complaining about it, we'll be coming back to this conversation right now and be like,
Well, yeah, that's
what's the thing that's been missing? Oh, wait, pitching health. It's always been an issue for them. So I think the Yankees, if they find a way to get somewhat healthy and not be in the hospital
Mhm.
all the time or at home, I think they'll be a team that could put it together and scrap out 89 and 90 points minimum for the fans in the Bronx. But we go to the other borough in Queens, the New York Mets, losing again to the Diamondbacks. Did we lose 7-1 for the second day in a row?
7-2 the day before. I believe that was Wednesday, and 7-1.
7-2,
last night.
everybody. Yes. Now, this is what it really deserves.
Now, you want to talk about injuries on a team.
The New York Mets.
This team fell apart very quickly.
Juan Soto. Let's list off some names together, all right? Juan Soto, Jorge Polanco, apparently. AJ Minter, he's hurt
His
every
first
year.
rehab start, though.
Rehab start.
Rehab appearance.
Though you gotta say, some of the starting pitching looks really good. And then you get to Freddie Peralta, who's been underwhelming, to say the least.
Well, they had a very strong start against the Cardinals in that away game that ended up being a loss because
but
the
it's
team
the
was
Cardinals.
the team was in a time where they weren't hitting whatsoever. Got to San Francisco, got a little bit of that back, won the last 3 games of that 4-game set. Then you come back home to play the Diamondbacks in a series where I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, Zach Gallen, yeah, he's shown a bit as a starting pitcher. Maybe he'll have their number a little bit, but I think they'll be able to get that one back. Ryan Nelson, as a reliever and starter in both of those positions, hasn't been too great. But we'll see how he'll go there. Has his ups, has his downs. How will he face against the Mets? We'd see. And then in the final matchup, Eduardo Rodriguez, who I guess is still living off that high of winning the championship for Team Venezuela,
Oh, yeah, he went up against Nolan McLean yesterday.
who also faced in Venezuela versus USA.
Yes, I was about to say that. And just like last time, it's the Venezuelan pitcher who gets the upper hand in the end.
Only giving up the 1 run, a solo shot by Luis Robert, who was continued to look like the best offseason acquisition for the New York Mets, has just continued to dominate as a batter. But Nolan McLean, despite throwing an absolute gem in his start, gives him a couple of runs, or gives a couple of hits that have some runners on that are his to have. They put like Weaver into the game, and unfortunately, you got a guy in right field who doesn't know how to play right field, and Brett Beatty, unable to get a catch off of a Gabby Moreno ball to right. Ends up being a double, and the wheels just fall off from there. That ends the rubber match of that series. Then we got to talk about the game before, where I think there's some really interesting discussions we're going to have about David Peterson after his last 2 starts for the New York Mets.
Yeah, can we pull up the numbers on Peterson? Though
They're
someone
not
who
good.
has been good, it was Clay Holmes.
Dominant against the Giants in that last matchup.
Makes me uncomfortable. He shouldn't be good.
Another 7-2 loss.
Another
They love doing that. Statistics here.
That's the
Box score.
all right, box score. Chase, we're gonna give you a sound effect.
Yeah.
Walk us through these incredible stats.
So we've got two.
I gotta hear this. A little bit.
We've got two pitchers here in this series, in this game rather, that really have been the dichotomy of what the Mets pitching staff has been when they're at their worst. 4 1/3 for David
Peterson, who gives up 5 runs, or 5 earned runs, 6 total, only striking out 5, giving up 9 hits. 9 hits in the first handful of innings. Only throwing 68 pitches, 46 of them being strikes before getting pulled. And then who would close the game? That'd be Sean Manaea for 3 2/3 innings, where he gave up only 1 run, walked 2, gave up 4 hits, struck out 2, gave up a home run, though, on 74 pitches, throwing more than the starter. We knew Manaea would be in this piggyback role for the beginning of the season, because if you haven't been made aware, his fastball is at about 88, 89 miles per hour, really dropping that velo for the man who got a hefty contract after 2024, and now he's getting paid all that money to be a mop-up reliever to really clean up poor games. And funnily enough, both mop-up situations have been off of David Peterson blow-up starts. So, again, I think there are some underlying things, at least for Peterson, that I think are more understandable in terms of the pitches that he may be throwing and how much he is throwing a certain mix, how that may result in how well both the Giants and then Diamondbacks were able to see him. I don't really have an answer for Sean Manaea, however, as he just continues to throw slow and get really demolished by teams in the Giants and Diamondbacks who really don't have many, good hitters. So, again, I think those pitchers are something I'm really looking at. And batting-wise, listen, we do it every year with April, with Francisco Lindor. It's just cold. Is it more noticeable now with Juan Soto being hurt? Very much so. I think Bo Bichette's found his swing a little bit more. I think he's definitely having some stronger at-bats, not getting booed at his own stadium in the 3rd game of the season anymore. So I think that's good. As I said, Luis Robert has been really, really strong to start out. And it's been middling for Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty, having fine seasons. Vientos actually has flashed the glove a little bit at first base. I think he has definitely shown a little bit more defensive utility, especially in that first base position. And Brett Beatty, he's had his moments, but also, as I said, was kind of the catalyst of really booting that ball in right field that allowed for that snowball effect in yesterday's game. Overall, when I'm looking at the Mets, they are 3rd in the NL East right now, behind, 2 teams we'll get to that we might have thought weren't going to be that good. But
You said they were gonna be bad. One of them.
no, I said that the other was going to be better than them, and the other is better than them currently. The Phillies just happen to be worse than all 3.
No, I'm saying like the
But-
team you thought was gonna be bad.
I didn't say the Braves were going to be bad.
Yes, you did.
No, I said they'd be worse than the Marlins. Spoiler alert, we're talking about the Marlins and the Braves.
You said they're if you're worse than the Marlins,
Mm,
right?
No, because I said the Marlins are going to be good.
No. He's now muted. Like, if you'd say your team is worse than the Marlins
You are giving the Marlins too little credit.
because they're not good.
They are.
They have Sandy Alcantara. That's it.
They do not. This kid hates Every Perez. Whatever.
I
It's
do.
fine. It's fine.
Because he's not great.
Oh my god.
He's fine.
They are 8-5.
Yes,
How
they
did they
are.
get those wins, buddy?
Well, they blew their freaking bullpen with Alcantara a couple days ago.
Oh, then they'd have an even better record. So what are you mad at here? Pete Fairbanks is on the paternity list. He can't pitch as their closer. Congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats. No, he deserves an applause. No, shout out Peter Fairbanks. He's on the fraternity.
That's not the point here. The point being
That the Braves are legit. It's
legit. Have you seen Austin Riley play?
Yes, he's on
Drake
my fantasy
Baldwin's
team.
the best hitter, second best hitter on that team, arguably better than Acuna to start out the season.
No, it's Acuna is the best player on that team.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying to
If
start out the
Austin
year,
Riley could put it together, this team is amazing.
the Braves were struggling with the Angels. The Angels, they fought.
To be fair, Jordan Romano's been pretty good.
Shout out their manager though, a uniform tackle on Jorge Soler in their scuffle.
Oh
If you
my
haven't
God,
seen it, you gotta
yes.
see it.
Kurt Suzuki, I love you.
Also, another weird thing on Jorge Soler, just took like way too long to start that fight. Waited for the entire review on the throwback on the carom. Jonah Heim, really great carom to get the ball back after a wild pitch that was thrown over Soler's head, trying to throw it over to second to get Shawnoel out. Did not do so. And then after all of that, after all the review, after all looking at the play, then we come back to these guys fighting. And then Weiss, I believe, is the Braves manager now. It's weird not seeing Brian Snitker there.
I don't know
but
who it is.
nevertheless, the new manager just doing the job, getting down and dirty, getting Jorge Soler down. And, I think besides that energy and that excitement, not much to talk about with the Angels. But the Braves, are they flashing some really strong play from a guy like Olsen, who I thought would maybe a little bit step more down? No, he's played to a level that I think is really respectable. Michael Harris is still whatever. Ozzy Albies is still whatever. Mauricio Dubon is starting for this team at shortstop, so that's something.
I mean,
But I do
who's
think-
their previous shortstop? Not Dansby.
No, it was Hassan Kim.
No, there was someone before him.
Yeah, Arcia.
Orlando Arcia.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Also not good. Not the point. Point being, this Braves team, they've had a nice start. They've had a nice start to the year. I still don't think they're all that. The Marlins, I think, continue to show young talent that can hit really well. Owen Casey, after having such a
Owen
great
Casey's been
performance
great.
for
Owen-
WBC, has been
Owen
really,
Casey's
really
been
strong.
great. I will agree with that.
Xavier Edwards, Otto Lopez, they do their thing. Slap hits, they get the job done. Does this team, need more pop, really strong? Need like a guy like Kyle Stowers to get back, or someone like Jacob Marcy to really take that next step, like we may have seen in the past, or even Augustine Ramirez. There's a lot of different guys who are fluctuating because they're young players, and development is not linear. So I think the Miami Marlins. I don't know how this became a Miami Marlins segment, but the Miami Marlins, atop the NL East right now, I think are doing things that could be sticky. But again, I think a team like the New York Mets, let's get back on topic here. I think the New York Mets are a team that is going to really bounce back. Have had this tough series against the Diamondbacks now. Play the A's, who just went in, as we said, to the Yankees and able to win that series. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how these two teams fare. I think the pitching matchups are definitely an advantage of the Mets. But, we're definitely going to see some late game clutch hit by one Jeff McNeil if he is in the lineup for them, because
He'll be hitting ninth.
of course he'll do something really good against the Mets, because why not? But again, I think this Mets team, similar to the Yankees, I don't think there's too much to worry about. There are some pitchers that I think are really, really interesting to see how they'll fare for the rest of the season, like Peterson and Manaea. But we've also got guys like Tobias Myers and Christian Scott in AAA
Yeah.
that I think could come up and really do things well. Tong, when he finally has adjusted to having maybe a third pitch, and could be another young bright spot in this rotation, because a guy like McClain, I think he has been by far and away the most impressive member of this rotation, with Peralta's roller coaster of kind of a start to the year. But overall, I think this team, like we said with the Yankees, just got to get healthy. You got to get your best player back in Juan Soto. Got to get Jorge Polanco to
He's day-to-day,
not
too.
have Achilles tendonitis or whatever they've announced him with, because I don't understand how he played 2 games and now might just be DH for the rest of the year, not play first base. It's really interesting what happened there. But the rest of this team, I think, they just got to get acclimated to, playing obviously in this cold New York start to the year. So,
Yeah, it's not fun.
we'll see how the rest of them fare out. But overall, I think this team is right where they need to be, middling in the NL East, definitely still close to potentially being a top where I had them, making the World Series in the prediction just a few weeks ago. So we'll see if that still stands once all the team is ready and healthy to go.
Marcus Semien, figure it out, please. He's been really bad.
He's had a couple of solid hits in the Diamondback series.
213.
They're only hitting when he's down 5 runs, but it's still a couple of hits. Stat padding, sure, but don't
213
matter.
average with a 602 OPS. Is that not screaming
might have-
yikes? Thanks,
We
Steve.
might have lost the Brandon Nimmo trade.
Maybe. Carson Bench.
Gold Glove defense at second base, though.
He has 2 hits all
Bench can't hit,
season.
yeah. He did get a hit stolen from him in the first game of the series, a deep ball to right center that was just, I believe, Barossa or Thomas, one of the center fielders for Arizona.
I didn't really
just
watch the series.
a
so.
wonderful sliding play. Absolutely stole what could have been extra bases for the kid.
So Chase, here's a question for you without looking at the numbers. Who's the second best player in batting average in terms of batting average on the Mets right now?
Have they played many games?
Yes.
Okay. Second best in
Qualifying
batting
players,
average.
'cause
Okay,
first is Luis
qualifying
Robert.
players for sure. Yeah, and I knew Luis Robert had been insane. So like, to Mark Vientos.
He's not here. He's
He's not qualified.
qualified.
And not qualified. So it definitely can't be Torrens because he definitely wouldn't be qualified. Who am I forgetting? Is it Jared Young?
No. Also hasn't
Who's going to
qualified.
think he is? He's probably also not qualified. It's not going to be Alvarez because he doesn't hit that. He doesn't hit often.
Alvarez is third.
Third. Okay. Well, that also doesn't that doesn't seem good. Beatty.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Brett Beatty.
You know, I will say before.
How is it him?
Well, before all the injuries of Polanco and Soto, those guys in kind of the 5-6 holes of Robert and Beatty were doing a really good job in kind of the heart of this lineup to really continue to get the lineup going. Just the rest of these guys, Alvarez, it's a home run or single up the middle.
That's
Those are about
fine.
the only hits
But
that he
that's
gets.
fine because I'm going to mute you again because we're going to mute each other for a second.
Hey.
Francisco Lindor is hitting 157. How?
It's April. He doesn't like playing baseball in
But
April.
he sucks.
He also is definitely still hurt, but is playing.
Oh no,
through
I
it.
know, and it pisses me off.
Which also doesn't make sense because him and Corbin Carroll had the same injury at the same time, and he looked fantastic for the Diamondbacks this series. He's younger, sure. He might just be genetically more
significantly.
sound to.
Isn't he 10 years younger than Lindor?
Probably.
How old is Lindor?
32, 33.
Yes, he's like 9-10 years younger.
Yeah, so obviously, Carroll's going to have an easier job coming back from the injury. And also, he's just a more dynamic player, has more power in his bat.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's just insane to see these guys both go down with, serious injuries in spring training. These are injuries that zap your power, that really make it hard to get that strong contact if you're a batter. Didn't stop him from a really strong first two games, sat in that third one. But even still, in a lineup where we saw Ketel Marte, as a fantasy owner of Ketel Marte, has not been good to start the year, formerly known as one of, if not the best second basemen in baseball. Not looking like it, buddy. Geraldo Perdomo has had a bad year to start out, He hasn't been too strong at the shortstop position. Adrian Del Castillo, who he doesn't even have a picture on ESPN. But he's doing the thing. He's doing it. Nolan Arenado, because of course he gets his first RBIs and really strong hits of the year against the Mets when he's been terrible for the Diamondbacks to start out the year. Barossa doing a fine job. Alec Thomas, he's mainly defense first, but has still been whatever. Ildemaro Vargas is on this team. Was batting second yesterday. It wasn't a problem for them. They still won by 5 runs. 6 runs actually from last night. I think that.
No, it was 5 last night. Not 7-6.
7-1 Thursday. But yeah, no, when it comes down to this series, it was a slog. They had some pitchers not do great. Luke Weaver had his first blow up for the Mets. Yankees fans, you get your moment. You get to, clink your glasses. You get your good moment where you get to say, haha, see Mets. That's why you don't pay him. Whatever. He still had a really strong first game where he was able to keep it tied for the ghost runner for the bottom of the 10th, which also I think we need to mention Ronnie Mauricio getting a walk-off hit for the beginning of the series in his first at-bat this year. Sure. I mean, why not? Paul Sewald, also former Met, was the one he hit it off of because that guy stinks, man. He's terrible.
Remember when he was good? Like the one season?
But not even that much. He's still pretty bad for the Mets.
No, I'm talking about the Diamondbacks.
Oh, for sure. No, he did have a really good year for the Diamondbacks. He was
never good for the
He was
Mets.
completely middling for the Mets, yeah.
Yeah.
At best, he was whatever.
Yes, it's a 3-run game. And who do you need? Where is the? Oh no, we don't have a drum roll on this.
We don't. We did.
No, we have these drums. That is
Those are the
Paul
only drums you
Sewald's
need.
Mets career in a nutshell. Is that sound effect? But we can talk about these teams all we want. The Mets, they need to get healthy, please. Yankees, don't just be good. I don't. They can be good.
Still bad vibes. And play Ben Rice more. I don't know why they're playing Paul Goldschmidt against lefties. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, because Ben Rice is a lefty.
I understand that, but he's like really good. They should just play him all the time.
Play Ben Rice. I guess. I don't know. And then
Stop playing Paul Goldschmidt. It's Paul
stop
Goldschmidt.
losing
It's
by
26.
one run.
True. Stop losing to the A's. That's probably the first thing we should say.
We're going to talk about some of the teams we mentioned as we go around the league and take a look at how bad our predictions have been. All coming up next on WIUR Radio.
This is WIUR Radio.
Hi, this is Anthony Carlo, TV news reporter in New York City and proud alum. If you're looking for a career in media, Iona is the place to be. From internships to real-world experience, Iona's media program is unprecedented. Take it from an industry professional who made it in the biz.
Now back to WIUR, Iona University Radio.
It's time to talk about teams that are better than the Mets and the Yankees. All right, let's do it. The Yankees are technically have the second best record in baseball, yet they haven't played like it for part of the season. Maybe when they get healthy and Aaron Judge stops striking out, then they can figure it out.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I know. I had to. I'm sorry. But let's take a look at some of the standings. The division leaders, by the way, right now, before we go into our surprising players, are the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Texas Rangers.
Not the Mariners, that's for sure.
The National League, it's actually not the Marlins. It's a tie between the Braves and the Marlins. Mets 1 game back.
Nice.
Central, we have the Brewers a half game ahead of Cincinnati.
Even talk about who's in last.
The Cubs.
Chi-town.
And the West, the Dodgers lead while Chase's lovely pick of the Giants is bottom.
As second place, it's still tight. Like 2 games back.
They're 4.
Oh, 2 games back of second place.
Yes. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to change up a little bit. We're going to do our surprise team in each league and a surprising player. So like for example, one surprising player. I know your player is in the National League, mine's in the American League, so we'll do a shout out to that. But we'll talk about the teams first. So we'll do players first. And I'll go with the American League player. And Chase DeLauder, it was either him or Shea Langoliers. Shout out both of them for being on my fantasy team.
Wow, must be nice.
Oh, I drafted one and picked up the other. You could probably tell like which one I did. I totally picked up Shea Langoliers. I did not. I had drafted Shea Langoliers.
Yeah, no, Chase DeLauder went undrafted.
Yes, and then I picked him up.
3 home runs in the opening series.
Yes, and I didn't even get him in the opening series, but after he's still been great. Both of them have been hitting excellent. Both of them with 5 home runs apiece. They've been really helping on offenses that just needed a bright spot, and we didn't really get to talk about Shea Langoliers as a part of that A's core that are really young, that are exciting, that are also somehow 4th in that division. Just not going to question that whatsoever. But DeLauder leading a Guardians group, an offense that we had a lot of question marks about, to top in the Central after 13 games because the Tigers are last.
4-9.
How?
Don't know.
I don't know why.
Have done more losses than twice they have wins.
But yeah, for both of them, I've been really surprised that the Guardians have had someone with power actually emerge because it's just the Guardians. 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, hitting 275 with 8 runs scored for DeLauder. He's been excellent. And then you talk about a guy like Shea Langoliers. He's hitting 289. He's not known for being a good player in terms of batting average, usually hitting around the 250, 260 mark. Hitting 289, 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, 7 runs scored. They've both been excellent for teams that really needed them to step up in their respective offenses. So far, my surprising player or players have been Shea Langoliers and Chase DeLauder from the A's and the Cleveland Guardians. What is your surprising player? Because I know he's in the National League.
Yeah, since you gave 2, I'll give 2 of my own, and I will keep both of them in the National League, but I'll go with my main choice here, which is going to be Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, this is a guy that, in past we may have talked about. Some people, I don't know specifics, but some people may have mentioned whether or not he was, a bust or whether or not he was playing poorly to start out his major league career based on just development not being there for him in the Cardinal system. And, that person may have also believed that, it was going to continue to look that way because the team was continued to play worse. They were playing all homegrown talent. They really have just been, trying to get by. And they've gotten by really, really well in this season. They are 7-5, 1 game back of first place in the NL Central, obviously with a bunch of time to go. But Jordan Walker has really been a bright spot and the main cornerstone piece of what has been the Cardinals season so far, in multiple home runs in these past couple of games. I believe 3 straight games with a home run. And while it is still power that is going the other way, still not pulling the ball, not getting the most out of, that natural talent that he has as a young, strong, builded player, he is still really showing those flashes in a more consistent basis than we've ever seen in his major league career before. So I really think that he is going to continue to do great things and be one of the main pieces of this Cardinals team for years to come as they look to rebuild after this less than ideal season with the talent they have on their roster with them right now. And then for the second player, mentioned him a little bit earlier, I'm going to go with Drake Baldwin of the Atlanta Braves, the reigning NL Rookie of the Year. And I think that he has just picked up right where he left off and done even more. Atop the leaderboards in MLB with RBIs. I think it's believed scored as a run in nearly every game, if not every game of the season so far. Batting second in this Braves lineup, a catcher batting second in this lineup and doing just some absolute great things. Defense, definitely not his, forefront and best asset, but even still, when you got a bat like that in the lineup every day, that is massive, protection behind Acuna, as you see guys like Olsen to continue to get better as the season goes on. Austin Riley, maybe he'll start hitting ever.
He's hitting 200, and he's selling also again for my fantasy team.
Correct. Not ideal, but again, Drake Baldwin, I think, for the Braves is a major piece in why they are doing so well as they are, tied for first, as you said, in the NL East. And I think if he continues to play like this, he's going to definitely be in some conversations as one of the top hitters really in the league. And so that's why I have a lot of faith in him. And for a guy like Jordan Walker, may not be at the best of his abilities right now, but is definitely showing some really strong strides in a great young player who has an organization around him where he can be that leader and that guy to be the face of that franchise.
All right, so now we're going to each go into one surprising team from each league and one disappointing team from each league. My surprise team, we'll start in the American League. I got to say it. They're not in first right now, but they actually looked pretty okay. The Minnesota Twins are my surprising team. Did not think we'd be saying that after 2 weeks. I thought they'd be like, yeah, they're 2-10. Taj Bradley winning both games. No, Taj Bradley's actually been pretty all right. The Twins.
All right is a bit of an understatement.
He's been great.
Best pitcher on the staff.
He is it's not saying a lot.
Joe Ryan.
That's fair. Taj Bradley, former Tampa Bay Ray. I don't know if he's played. Didn't he play with like the Padres? I feel like he played
Pirates.
With the Pirates. Who?
Pirates. He was traded to Rays.
He's been great for them. Their offense is kind of clicking. I don't know. The Twins are just like an interesting group with like just a bunch of hodgepodge pieces. And
Brooks Lee.
Oh yes, Brooks Lee.
Sure.
But like when you look at this Twins group and the roster they have, it's nothing that special.
Buxton's still healthy?
Sort of.
That's a win.
They did just beat the Tigers.
They swept them in a 4-game series.
Josh Bell is carrying
the king
with
of Minnesota
Matt
right now.
Wallner and Royce Lewis. Can you see why I'm concerned?
Royce Lewis also healthy. That's also huge.
Yes, it is.
This team loves its injuries.
Though I gotta say this: Byron Buxton's 5th on the team in batting average. He's hitting 200 to start the year. He's been pretty awful.
Not ideal.
But we need to give up a round of applause for Victor Caratini for having the 2nd best batting average on the team. He's hitting 289 in 2026. What
the Twins?
Matt Wallner is 3rd on the team in batting average with a 231, and Royce Lewis is hitting 222 despite being pretty good. But they've been like team-wise, they've been surprising. And then Taj Bradley, Joe Ryan, they've both been phenomenal so far. I've been very impressed. Though Joe Ryan, he's a 4.4. He needs to drop that a little bit. Same with Bailey Ober and Mick Abel. I think all of them need to start the trio of them. I was talking to people. Bailey Ober is someone it could maybe take a step up for the Twins rotation. He hasn't really done that so far. So I think going forward, if someone like an Ober or Joe Ryan can start to get things to click, then the Minnesota Twins are going to be in a surprisingly decent position for the first time since COVID times. My most disappointing team in the American League, there's a lot of options. But this is the Mariners. It's not close. 4-9. They've done absolutely nothing. They can't win games. Well, let's look at what they've done so far. All right, shall we? They opened it up by just getting pummeled. Actually, they split the series at the Gardens. It could have been worse. They then go out and lose 2-3 to the Yankees.
Mhm.
Okay. You then lose series, two consecutive series to the Angels
Yup.
and then the Rangers.
Yep.
They now have to play
The score looks pretty good.
the
for them.
Astros, who are also have been underwhelming record-wise. They've been meh. You know,
Someone doesn't know ball.
what's their record?
Oh no, they're 6-7. But have you seen their statistics? Christian Walker's back, bro.
I know. Christian Walker's back. They're still 6-7.
Yeah, okay.
You can be hitting the
The
email at
whole, the
home.
whole division is terrible.
I know. That's why I'm saying
So like, not, in the grand
there's
scheme
no
of things,
reason.
they're not
There is
underwhelming.
no reason this Mariners team should be this bad.
Oh no, they are definitely underwhelming.
Yeah.
But the Astros, I think most people thought they were going to be terrible. A 500 record at this point is solid.
I mean, they still got one of the best young starters in the game, Hunter Brown. They still got some
He's hurt.
decent. And yeah, I knew that, but like going forward, they're gonna be fine. But
Christian
when
Javier
your
sucks.
leading
They don't have
home
pitchers.
run guy is Luke Raley and Brendan Donovan,
Brendan Donovan's-
he's been great. Cal Raleigh is at 1. JP Crawford injured.
Yeah, I think 2025 was a fluke, guys.
Randy Arozarena has done nothing
It's hard to hit
despite
Seattle.
hitting 250.
It's hard to hit
J Rod, who I said was going to take a step up this year, is hitting,
That's your fault.
I know, is hitting 143. How? Josh Naylor, who they just signed long term,
5 years.
104.
20 some a year.
He's hitting worse than Carson Bench.
Sure, that's hard to do.
I know. Especially for a Carson Bench guy who's only had like 2 or 3 hits all season. That is impressive.
None have made it to the outfield on the fly.
I know. Cole Young is their leader in RBIs. This Mariners team has been hitting wise horrific. Pitching wise, they don't have a dude with over 20 strikeouts yet. There's people in this rotation that have less strikeouts than Taj Bradley.
Let's lock in Brian Wu. Let's lock in George Kirby.
Logan Gilbert,
Let's lock in Luis Castillo.
Emerson Hancock.
He's fine to suck. We know he was gonna.
He's been all right. He's more strikeouts than Castillo.
I mean, Castillo's washed.
He's also pitched one less start.
Well, change that.
Change that, please. I need him for my fantasy team. They are missing, obviously, like, health. Bryce Miller's not back yet. He'll be back eventually.
Mhm.
But they are concerning. That's an understatement. Oh, well, who are your surprises and disappointments in the American League?
Well, okay, so we're gonna look at the American League and go with our surprises. Really stole my thunder because you've given the Astros such a hard time, and I really do think they're one of these surprising teams because I thought this team would be terrible. I thought
They
hitting
are
wise,
bad.
I thought hitting wise they would not do anything. I thought pitching wise they wouldn't be able to do much either. One of those is true. They're hurt. They're hurt pitching wise. No Hunter Brown. Christian Javier is done. Lance McCullers can only stay healthy for so long in what opportunities he will have for the rest of the season. And beyond that, you got guys like Mike Burrows to make starts for this team. So that's bad. But what I'm shocked about is just how strong really this offense has continued to be. Christian Walker, as I just said, is back in 13 games played, batting .340, walking 5 times, has a RBI count of 13 and 17 hits total. Just has been a really strong point for this team that really needed it. Jose Altuve just continues to defy time, playing really well. Thought it'd finally catch up to him. It didn't. And then Yordan Alvarez being healthy, doing a really strong job staying in this lineup as well. Yainer Diaz, been fine. Cam Smith, really strong outfielder, young prospect that they got in that Kyle Tucker trade, continues to flash opportunity there. Carlos Correa, again, when healthy, has continued to show out. I think this is a team that has some really interesting hitters, and I think that they can kind of continue to develop into a team that is going to stay kind of in the mix, especially with the AL West being so competitive right now. The Angels love to stay competitive for like a month or two before finally tapping out. The Rangers, are they legit? Almost never, so we'll see. And the Mariners have to get back in the swing of things eventually. But I think it is really notable to say that the Astros are among the teams that are kind of near the top of that AL West. And I'm interested to see what they will do moving forward. And then quickly, disappointment. You took one of the 4-win disappointments in the AL. I will take the other one, that being the Detroit Tigers. No, Red Sox, we're not going to talk about you because you've just been that bad. the Detroit Tigers, a couple of bad starts from guys like Scooble in this rotation, so that's something to note. And hitting wise, I don't know what they're doing. So starting Javi Baez, yeah. Riley Green, really slow start. Kevin McGonigal kind of petered out after that really strong start to the year. A bunch of guys that aren't really at a superstar level to take this team to another notch. Maybe that'll change as time goes on this season, but overall, not liking how this has started out. I think they'll eventually get back towards the top of their division, but we'll just have to wait to see about that.
Just for reference, just to tell you how bad this team has been. Their leading guy in hits is a rookie, Kevin McGonigal.
Been good.
In Cole Keith, who's second.
Cole Keith, legend.
He's the leading player. Cole Keith is leading in almost every statistical category offensively for the Tigers. Whereas Gleyber Torres, Riley Green, Javi Baez actually hasn't played in a minute. He's only played 9 games this season. With 10 hits and 31 at bats. He's not been that terrible. It's not great, but Kerry Carpenter, meh. Spencer Torkelson, bad. Fair. Pitching wise, they've only had 2 pitchers win a start. 2. And it's Tariq Skubal and Framber Valdez.
Hey, man. Valdez has been very strong.
Yes.
I will admit that.
He's still struck out way less batters than he should. Valdez actually is a 4.7, so I don't know what you're addressing with that. Skubal is a 2.5. He can move out the way. All right, National League, surprising team. There's actually a lot of options for this. You can go unoriginal and go with the Marlins or
no, I won't go with the Marlins.
The Cardinals or whatever. But we already touched on those teams, so I'm going with the Cincinnati Reds.
God. Okay, I'll pivot. That's fine.
Nah, I'm kidding.
I can pivot.
I'll change. Arizona, we could talk about them a lot, being meh or whatever. But Pittsburgh being 7-5 is surprising.
True.
True. Despite them being 4th, they've actually have a better record than most of the teams we've talked about.
Their pitchers are so good.
Their pitching is great. The offense continues to be underwhelming.
Yeah. Well, it's going to do that. It's Pittsburgh.
But what's crazy is that they have a better run difference than a lot of teams. They have a better run difference than the Cardinals and the Reds and the Phillies and the Giants and the aforementioned Arizona Diamondbacks.
Those are one of the worst run differentials in baseball.
Yes. Now, am I worried that O'Neal Cruz is kind of killing it now after that bad opening day? Yes. Am I concerned that Ryan O'Hearn is tied for the team lead in hits? Maybe. But we didn't really expect anything out of them. And
not at all.
Not really at all.
So anything is surprising.
Anything can be surprising. Just like the fact that Marcell Ozuna has 2 hits in 8 games with 31 at-bats.
It's not surprising at all. It sucks.
I know, but I'm like...
Ozuna, formerly from the Braves.
Yes. And this team has a lot of weird pieces.
I'll give us a disappointment.
Disappointment? There's a couple options, actually, for this. The Nationals. I'm kidding. They are expected to be bad, and they are bad.
Good for them.
My disappointment, there's actually way less choices than I thought. Just because I know they're going to be injured to heck, have they been injured? Have the Philadelphia actually been injured, or is they just...
No, they're just terrible.
Are they starting Andrew Painter at 5?
He's good. He was a top prospect for them.
I know, but I thought they had another
He's been
starter.
Fine. Lazardo's been bad.
Yeah. Because Jesus Lazaro sucks, and the fact that their best starting pitcher, and besides Christopher Sanchez, is freaking Aaron Nola in 2026. Philadelphia needs to figure it out.
Wonderful contract by them.
How long is this contract? It's been a while.
But they paid him recently, so that's not good.
And they are employing Taijuan Walker in the big 2026. That sound effect's so useful.
The New York streets will never forget you, Taijuan Walker.
9.3 ERA. 9.3 ERA. He could be packing his bags to like the Mexican League or something, because he should not be on that team. He's been really bad. Christopher Sanchez has been actually pretty solid. As expected, though, there is no pitcher on this team who has more than 1 win.
Checks out.
checks out for a team that's been this terrible or this underwhelming. So I'm going to say Philadelphia is my underwhelming team, though there are a lot of options for both. Go ahead, Chase.
All right, make it real quick here. I think what we've got for disappointment, got to go with Chicago Cubs. That team I had.
They've won back-to-back, though. They're figuring it
Back
out.
to back. Kid Horns out for the season. Matthew Boyd still doesn't look that good.
Yeah, but like
Michael Busch doesn't look that good either.
I know.
It's an unfortunate lineup, and they're really not playing too strongly. I think Edward Cabrera, again, was a really strong offseason piece, and I think we'll continue to have strong starts for them there. Daniel Palencia, when he's been able to get into games, another fantasy owner of Daniel Palencia, he never gets into games because his team either wins by a lot or loses by a lot. Thanks, Chicago. But even still, strong back end of the bullpen and some other additional pieces. But again, this is just a team that is not clicking right now. It's cold in Chicago as well. This team is just going to struggle no matter what when it comes to the beginning of the year. And they're doing so mightily, and I think they need to definitely get back onto their winning ways. So it surprises me that they are, at a disappointing point so far. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, my choice for the surprising team, I'll go with the Cincinnati Reds because Sal Stewart literally leads in all statistical categories for batters, has been really, really strong. Guys like Matt McClain have been interesting to start out the year. Eugenio Suarez, that first week, as I mentioned to you over text, just did his best Barry Bonds impression. And then, went back to being Eugenio Suarez. But even still, guys like, obviously, De La Cruz really hasn't found his stride yet. But, even at an 80% to 70% still plays like one of the best players in baseball. It's just how good and talented he is. So I think overall this team can only get better, and they've been really, really strong to start out in this NL Central, which, as I've said, with how the Cubs played, how the Brewers have played, and the other two teams, Pirates and Cardinals, are there as well. I think the Cincinnati Reds really could make a run at it if they continue to move well. But that's definitely my most surprising pick for the NL.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's edition of the Booth Review. Make sure to check out the Ionian article to learn more about your president. Or you can check out our Instagram to learn more about Radiothon. For Chase Caridi, on Robbie Basil saying so long. Enjoy today's baseball game on WIUR Sports 2:45 Eastern. Coverage will begin with Chase Caridi and Zion Candelario. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you next week. This has been another edition of the Booth Review on WIUR Radio.
IUR Radio.